Hey friends, Justin back with my second upload of the day. Happy New Year to everyone. I love you guys for watching. I hope you have something really fun and safe planned for tonight. I very likely won't make it past my living room, and I know I'm not going to make it to midnight. I was telling some folks at work today, I'm not even going to kid myself this year. But I did want to come on and make a special video just to talk about my favorites of 2021. There's been uh, so much media out this year, especially with folks at home and getting over this pandemic. And I wanted to share some of the standouts. And a lot of them have been reviewed on my channel, and some haven't. So let's jump right in. If any of them match your list or you're interested in, leave me a comment and I'll certainly share more. I think my favorite film of 2021 was The Power of the Dog, starring Kirsten Dunst and Benedict Cumberbatch. The nuance in just about every aspect of that film was really breathtaking to me. The implication of a fading in a bygone Wild West, and a man holding on to all that he knew, was really uh, breathtaking. And the director said that she read the novel, The Power of the Dog, and the story haunted her for weeks and weeks after. And she knew that she had to make this film. And, you know, I put in my review, it was probably the first film that I got a full body chill after the film went off, just to think about all of the implications and just the sheer genius of the writing and the storytelling. So for that reason, The Power of the Dog is my number one. Benedict Cumberbatch was a masterclass, and he's on my short list to win Best Actor this year at the Academy Awards. I'm giving it to him right now. Second, and I didn't post a review about this, was the Paul Thomas Anderson Licorice Pizza. What a cool, funky name. I lived for about 5 years in my 20s in the San Fernando Valley, in the greater Los Angeles area, and I really loved, kind of a love letter to that area and that part of Americana. I grew up, or kind of had a second growing up in Van Nuys and Encino and Tarzana, and running up and down Ventura Boulevard in my 20s. And it's a film that if you have not seen and watched, it's lovely. So Licorice Pizza is one of my favorites of the year too. One film that is really an achievement in film, and the studio A24 is just astonishing to me. I recently applied actually for a position or a job at A24, so just because I am just in love with their integrity, their originality in filmmaking. But the film that they made this year that really blew my mind was The Green Knight with Dev Patel. I don't know if you guys have watched it yet, but it is a high fantasy epic that mixes cinematography with Old English and beautiful storytelling, which is a kind of a signature of A24, and was just brilliant. I think it speaks to a lot of audiences, modern fantasy, those that love literature, and just anybody will probably love it. So that's, I think, cinematography. It could win an Oscar this year, but I'm a huge fan of just about anything A24 does. The new Michelle Yeoh film by A24, Everything All at Once, I think that's the name of it. I'm on eggshells waiting for it to come out. I'm going to go to the theater to support it. And the reason why is that we have to support Indian art house film. They're going to go see Spider-Man. They're going to go see Venom. They're going to go see Doctor Strange and the Multiverse. It's going to be $1 billion. But in order to keep comedies, in order to keep independent films, you remember, 20, 30 years ago, we all used to go see films with Goldie Hawn and Whoopi Goldberg and um, John Candy, and generational films. Those are no longer, because the money is in Marvel. The money is in, these big epic superhero films. And so we have to hold on where we can to great filmmaking. And so The Green Knight was just an achievement to me, just in the audacity of making a film about Arthurian legend. I recently watched the new Macbeth with Denzel Washington, and it was incredible. It's in black and white. They use traditional text, but it was just a stunning film. If you have not seen the new Macbeth, give it a chance. I think it's going to be on Apple TV, if I'm not mistaken. Also an incredible film. And rounding out my list is one I made a review here on my channel for, and then a follow-up about Kristen Stewart, and that was the film Spencer. Not only Kristen Stewart's performance, but the film itself is just a gorgeous, gorgeous fairy tale. The way that is it Sandringham House? The way that the castle that they're in, the palace that they're in is recreated. The grounds, the servicemen. It's more than a film. It's like they recreated a time and space. I've heard some people that are a little bit closer to the monarchy that, had criticisms about Kristen Stewart and about some of the things that were factually inaccurate. But I thought the film was incredible. I thought that weaving traditional themes of horror and a biopic together. I didn't see Jackie, Pablo Larraín's first film that kind of followed the same themes. But I am a Pablo Larraín fan going forward. It's interesting, just like with Chloe Zhao and Nomadland, folks that are not first-generation Americans seem to be able to tell traditional stories, outsider looking in. This was a UK story, but, by, I believe he's an Italian filmmaker. But just the attention to detail and the passion that they have behind getting things right is just insane. And so that rounds out, Spencer rounds out, one of my faves. Honorable mention I'm going to give to Being the Ricardos. Just for the sheer tension. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Nicole Kidman, she got the voice down pat. She was able to grab something in Lucille Ball that I didn't expect her to grab. I did not love the character that played Ethel. I thought Javier Bardem playing Ricky, I thought he did really well. I kind of lost myself in the character and felt that I was watching Ricky. And I love that this was truly a love letter to one of the greatest actors, comedians, and people that we've had. I mean, I was writing to someone on another review. There was Charlie Chaplin and there was Lucy. And no one else has ever come close to their comedic genius. She stood alongside Groucho Marx and some of the highest comedians from vaudeville to talking pictures to the early 60s and 70s. It was Lucy, and anything Lucy I absolutely love to watch. And I really enjoyed the commentary and this inside look into Lucy's life. And I'm going to round out the video with a last honorable mention, and that is the film Bruised by Halle Berry. Now, it's not going to be on an Oscar list, I don't think. Deserves it, in my opinion, but I don't think it'll be on an Oscar list. But, the achievement there is bigger than the film. Halle Berry at this point is going on 60 years old. You know, she was in, was it The Boomerang? You know, she's been acting since the mid 80s. You know, the 90s she was in incredible films. The Flintstones, you know, for a lot of us, that's our touchstone. She was a Bond girl in like 2001. Storm and X-Men. Her role in Monsters Ball that garnered her the Oscar. Catwoman that everyone loves to you know to hate on. She's had an incredible career. You know, John Wick, and she directed this film, and she stars convincingly as a young lesbian MMA fighter. And you know, she's going on 60 years old. You have to give credit where credit is due. You know, and so I'm proud of her for continuing to work hard. Her ethic in the entertainment industry, because she's rich. She could sit down and be pretty for the rest of her life, but she's still proving herself. And so that's why I give Miss Halle Berry an honorable mention. I know I missed a lot of films. What were some of your top films of 2021? If it's possible, I may come and do TV shows. You guys know that I loved The Wheel of Time and Reservation Dogs. That was my number one TV show of the year. Just incredible. And Taika Waititi, the creator there, and Sterling Harjo. Sterling Harjo was given a huge deal by Disney and Hulu to create original content. And I couldn't be more excited for the implications, you know, therein, for the community, for original storytelling, for the truth being in mainstream media. I could go on and on and on. What were some of your favorites this year? Leave your top, you know, few films in the comments below, or any that you really enjoyed watching. I really appreciate everyone that has, you know, watched my channel this year and participated in the conversation. And here's to 2022. And as always, cheers, guys.